I think a lot of people are here for one particular reason today.
Welcome to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather, your weekly football podcast recorded right here in the heart of Sin City. Join Mike and the Feather as they dive into the world of sports bet predictions, game analysis, and serve up a healthy dose of Vegas-style humor. Whether you're looking to ride the winning streak or soar to new heights in your football knowledge, this is the podcast for you. Let's embark on this gridiron adventure together from the entertainment capital of the world.
Jason, I think a lot of people are here for one particular reason today. And that's to have a great time with Mike and the Feather here on Fade or Fly. I'm Mike.
And I'm the Feather.
He picked up on that one. How's everybody doing out there? Jason, do you know who Harry Styles is?
Vaguely. He's a singer.
But he was with One Direction originally, right?
Apparently.
And you know Justin Timberlake.
Absolutely.
Look for an older crowd. He was with NSYNC. Trivia question. You know what they have in common?
What?
Well, they both started out in one place and then realized to really spread their wings and fly, they had to go a different direction. Enough said about that, I think.
Enough said.
We're here now. We're now hoping to be one of the greatest duos of all time, alongside, who do we have? Batman and Robin, Sonny and Cher, Ham and Eggs,
Ham and Eggers, baby.
Curds and Whey, Rum and Coke, M&M's. Does that count as a duo, M&M's?
Spaghetti and meatballs.
Spaghetti and, hey, is that an attack on my Italian heritage? All right, guys, enough of being silly, but I wanted to say welcome into Fade or Fly. We have a lot of new viewers over the last few days. And for those of you who are here for the first time, or if you've been watching for a little bit, I wanted to give you a little bit of a update on this channel and what we're doing going forward, because Jason is actually very diligent on having me read all the comments. He is dedicated to us engaging with our fans, and I appreciate his commitment to that. One thing I see quite a bit in the comments is suggestions or questions if we're going to do things beyond football. And I want to let people know that's 100%. I'd say 110%, but I'm a stickler for mathematically. You can't have 110% of anything. Blame my OCD for that. But anyway, we are making this more into a buddy show. That was the whole idea from the beginning. Obviously, Jason is well known for his football picks and his sports, but we had an idea from the beginning that this channel is going to be about all things sports, all things Vegas. We want to get into doing for fun, because we do this stuff anyway, so we want to bring you into our world and share it. Movie reviews, restaurant comparisons. The idea is that we're going to help you decide if you want to fade or fly, different things that we like to share out here. So, yes, that stuff is coming soon. As you can tell from one episode to the next, if you've been watching, I'm trying to get all the audio and video kinks worked out first. I'm the kind of person who really wants to have something top-notch before he goes and just does it. So it's coming. We promise that. We're going to have a new segment this week. We're going to have a little bit of banter here now. This is my moment to talk, I realize, too. Once we get to football, I got to sit here and be quiet. But as I've always said, I'm the Ed McMahon to his Johnny Carson. Talk about friggin' dating myself on that one.
Oh, boy.
But so if you're interested in just the football talk, the time code to jump to is down below. And if I remember, I'll put it on the screen right now. It'll be in the future. I can't tell you what it is just yet. But yeah, so eventually we're going to have the comment of the week, but that's what I wanted to address, is people asking what we're going to do. And we're open to suggestions. Anything you want to see Jason and I do within reason that you'll enjoy to watch. Because that's what Fade or Fly was created for, was a way for us to have fun and share the things that we enjoy doing. And we would be doing this regardless if anybody was watching it. But we're super thankful for everybody coming. I ran a YouTube channel before. It is a lot of work to get viewers. And I had quite a few. But the thing for me is I was making content that it was business content to an extent. And I was knowledgeable about it, but it wasn't fun for me to make. You're my good friend. This stuff is fun to make. Enough of that sappy crap.
Receiver. And after the penalty, first down at the Charger 43. Cousins back to the air. Open again is Addison. And a little toe drag. It's his sixth catch. All of a sudden, Cousins didn't even step into that throw. And he just threw out. Oh my God. Just feathered that.
That right there was a man who loves his football team. He didn't know I was sitting there for about 5 plays before, just trying to secretly record him, waiting and hoping for that touchdown. And that has now become our #1 viewed video on all of YouTube so far. So make sure you are subscribed. So when those things happen, and I assure you more things will happen. Your thoughts on the news we broke a week ago here, the Travis Kelsey, Taylor Swift relationship, and does this mean that ultimately Casey is doomed as a franchise because once they break up, Kelsey is just a downward spiral and a shell of himself for the remainder of his career?
All I can say was, from what I hear, it was impossible to get her out of the luxury box she was in.
You saw that, right?
Yeah, the Swifties were out in force. I mean, it is insane. I can tell you now, Travis Kelsey apparel has gone up in sales since yesterday, 400%. 400% increase in Travis Kelsey jerseys and Chiefs apparel.
Now, I think we know the answer to this, but I don't think that has a converse where a bunch of Travis Kelsey fans are suddenly buying Taylor Swift T-shirts or hats. I don't think it works in reverse.
No, I don't know if Kelsey fans or Chiefs fans became Swifties overnight. That probably didn't work that direction. But on the other side, I can guarantee there's gonna be a lot of Kelsey jerseys probably at Swift concerts. So it'll be interesting.
But it could be good for Kansas City as a whole, right? Because now you might have more wives and girlfriends who maybe weren't interested in football that want to go to maybe catch a glimpse of her. Like I grew up around show business in Southern California. My parents were both in the industry and in front of them, behind the camera, and I never had an interest in that. In my day, and I can say that now because my day was about 30, 40 years ago, growing up in Burbank, you would walk around and you would see who were then celebrities buying dog food at your supermarket, going to pick up a check at the NBC studios. I remember driving past when NBC was in downtown Burbank. Hell, when downtown Burbank was downtown, they moved downtown Burbank to uptown. And if anybody knows of Burbank, you know what I'm talking about. It used to be all the studios. Johnny Carson, we mentioned earlier, filmed there. Jay Leno. And there'd be lines outside the building waiting for free show tickets to go see these things. In fact, he still goes. Haven't been back there in a while, but you could consistently see Jay Leno driving up and down Magnolia Boulevard, and he would stop and talk to people about cars. Every time they had a car show, he would bring all his cars out. Like you're used to that kind of thing. So to me, I'm like, to go and just be that mind boggled that across this barrier, past those security guards, in this room with 40 other people, is Taylor Swift, and I'm going to stand here to try and catch a view. Although, looking at the game that was going on the field, might have been a little more interesting to stand there and hope to catch a glimpse. That was an ass whooping of a major kind.
Oh, the Bears.
That you probably felt good about. Bear down.
No, bear down. 0-3 Bears. Hey, 0-3 Bears. 0-3 Vikings. Shout out to Bears and Vikings fans. How you looking now, Green Bay Packers? But all I can say about Taylor Swift is I'd rather see her on my NFL football game to watch as opposed to seeing Jackson Mahomes. So as long as I don't see him on the screen, I think society in general is winning. So, yeah.
All right, let's talk one other piece of news that got released just this weekend, and that is the Super Bowl halftime show here in Las Vegas. It's Usher. As usual, I'm going to assume there will be other people who make cameos because that seems to be the trend now. No matter what they announce, there's always 2 or 3 more people. And like props to Usher, he's come a very long way from seating people in a theater. But we're having the first major sporting championship for the NFL in Las Vegas. Why don't you get the Killers? Why don't you get Five Finger Death Punch?
Imagine Dragons.
Why don't you get exactly? Why don't you get the people who are known for this city and have them do a combined show? I understand Usher has a residency, but I feel like that is a little bit, like you would say, a little bit of a schneid towards things that made this city big before we were the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, agreed. 100%. It makes no sense. I mean, Usher's fine, whatever. He acts. He's decent. He's a good singer. But being the history of this city and you would think they would have went bigger, right? Like, I don't understand where Usher becomes the representation of the very first Las Vegas Super Bowl. You're talking about the sports entertainment capital of the world, and you would have thought they would have gave the nod to any one of 4 other well-known groups, and maybe even sprinkling 2 or 3 of them in there, all 3 of them. You could have got 3 or 4.
No one's saying they might not, right? Like, that's what I was saying. They always say, "Oh, I remember the Super Bowl years ago when it was Kaepernick and the Seahawks, or Russell Wilson and Kaepernick, and it was like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then they had like 16 other special guests." So they might do that. Personally, though, I think because people will start to put, we're missing the point of this. I do think it's because he's going to be with, I believe, at the Sphere, the new giant light up eyeball theater. And I think that's their way of saying we're cross promoting something else big that we have year round. So I get it. It's marketing. Marketing is key. But I also think I missed the mark a little bit. But
yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. But yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of disappointment in the air in regards to Usher. But we'll see. The most important part is the football, right? A lot of people like it for the commercials and the halftime show, but primarily it's all about the football.
Last thing I want to talk about, actually, this was something I was talking to a friend this morning on the phone, because he's been getting calls where people are saying, hello, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Can you hear me? And he goes, they tried to get me again. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, well, these are AI scams. And I was like, explain, because I have an IT background before I retired, and I focused on security. And I didn't realize it's very simple. They are trying to get you to respond that you're there, and they are recording your voice. So they can then make a amalgamation of your voice and try and use it to unlock things that are voice secured, which has been known to happen. And I bring it up that if you think that's kind of silly and it won't happen, I haven't mentioned this yet, but everybody go back and rewind about 14 minutes, rewatch our opening. You know that voice? That voiceover we have that says, welcome to Fade or Fly.
Welcome to Fade or Fly with Mike and the Feather, your weekly football podcast.
That's all computer generated. I made that. And you can't tell. You really can't tell. So our last bit of news is be safe. If you're getting very suspicious numbers from people you don't know, and they're just saying, hello, we can't hear you, just hang up. If it's important, they'll call back. I know this is not related to anything in general, but I wanted to tell you that. And since you're very keen on security, and we share stuff, and that's the point of the show, I just wanted to mention that.
I just flat out don't answer any call that I don't know who it is. It's that simple. I just don't answer it. If it's important, I'll leave a voicemail. But otherwise, unless it's specifically somebody I know, I don't answer it.
So if I take your name out of my phone and it just rings your phone number, since I don't know it, do I finally not have to answer your calls?
No, you have to answer them.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to us ramble. I want to get into what happened last week with football and the picks. We had another rough week. We only had 3 straight picks last week, and we dabbled in the world of parlays. I'm going to turn the show over to you. Let's tell them what happened. And I did want to add, for anybody who thinks this man's picks aren't good, A, I will testify that he made me money last year. And B, like I said, I read all the comments. I reply to the ones that need to reply. If you're sitting here watching to see his picks and you're hate watching and you're saying how bad they are, 2 things. 1, thank you, because YouTube does not care whether you're watching out of hate or commenting out of hate. They just care that you're watching and leaving comments. So that's beneficial to us. But this is also simple math, folks. If this man makes bad picks week after week, just bet the opposite and you'll win, right?
It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
All right, we're going to review these picks. And always, let me just remind you guys, please, if you're enjoying the content, consider giving a thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already subscribe so we can make sure we tell you first when new content comes out. I'm going to go ahead and list out the first of our picks from last week, and then the Feather's going to go over exactly what happened. So the first one we had for you was the Saints at Packers. At the time we recorded it, Packers were minus 1.5. Final score was Packers 18, Saints 17. The final line, by the time you could bet this on Sunday morning, was +2, I believe. So this was another shifty game. We gave it to you at 1.5. That was a loss. Feather, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I mean, it was an exciting game, that's for sure. I mean, Jordan Love coming back down 17 points and scores 18 in the fourth quarter. That's pretty epic. But from a pick standpoint, it was a big L. We took a loss on that one. Totally owned that. Green Bay, unfortunately, I felt like there was going to be probably 3 of those 5 players that were deemed out. I thought were going to be a green light. And then Mike and I are sitting there in the Westgate, and hour before kickoff, and all of a sudden the line goes bloop. Went from -1 Green Bay to +1.5 to +2. And basically everyone was scratched. And due to probably the Thursday night game turnaround coming up this week, they wanted to save them for that, and that's pretty much what it is.
So you're thinking they basically said, let's go ahead and roll with what we have for Sunday and make sure we have guys who are just getting healthy, well rested for another game 4 days later.
Yeah, I believe it's even when guys are completely healthy. I mean, it's a quick turnaround from Sunday to Thursday, but I believe that they rolled the dice and thought, hey, we have a pretty solid team. I think we could win our home opener without them. And the game that's really important is this week against Detroit. We need to have this win, and we want to be at full strength if possible. And I think that's what their decision was come Sunday morning, last minute. And they rolled with it, and it worked out. It was looking ugly early, and Jordan Love played great. The Packers looked good. Yeah, the pick was a loss, and that's about all there is to say. It was an exciting game, and as you depicted in the video.
Okay, second up, we have the Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. At the time we made the pick, Jaguars were -8.5. The final score was Texans 37, Jaguars 17. So a 20-point loss for the Jaguars against a Texans team who just decided to play football on a random Sunday in September.
Yeah, this was a shocker. I mean, Jacksonville, I've seen to be damned if I do and damned if I don't. I mean, last year, I would take Jacksonville, go against them, and it would go the wrong direction, and vice versa. The Texans are a bunch of ham and eggers, and somehow, I mean, they have a good rookie quarterback that has a lot of potential, but otherwise that team doesn't have much. But for some reason, they came out on fire and just literally owned Jacksonville, and it was embarrassing. Jacksonville at home getting stomped like that was brutal. So that pick was never had a chance, and that line was never going to get covered. So, yeah, I guess just going to have to watch the future games coming up here. Jacksonville plays Atlanta in the UK this weekend, and they play normally really good overseas. Jacksonville's very familiar with that game, and they tend to show out pretty good for the people of England. And so we'll see what's in store for them this week. But last week was a dumpster fire for them, and another loss for us, so unfortunately.
All right, well, we did get one of the first original 3 straight picks correct, and that was the Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks at the time of the pick were -6. Final score was 37 Seahawks, 27 Panthers. And I will say, if we were in a different sport, if this had been a baseball contest, so to speak, and we were 33% on our picks, you bat 330%. You're Hall of Fame bound, my friend, in the major league.
We lost a 5-unit one based on the line I gave you for Green Bay, but then we won 1 3-unit and one lost the other 3 units. So that washed out, lose the 5 units. If some of you bet Sunday morning, you may have won it too. So I know Wisconsin Tom, shout out Wisconsin Tom. He got a push because of the time he bet it, so he ended up okay. But anyhow, it's one of those things where it is what it is, I guess. Another point breaking the other way for Green Bay, and we're having a whole different discussion. So.
Very true. Now, can you what is your thought on early lines on games, maybe waiting to bet more later on in the week or wait till Sunday morning? What's your opinion on early lines and just waiting a bit longer if you feel a little bit off about, I like where it is, but it could be better, but then are you taking too big of a chance that the line might shift so far you miss an opportunity?
Yeah, I have a discussion quite a bit with people. My buddy Dan and I talk about it, and he asked me why I just don't jump on early lines ahead of time if I see it beneficial. sometimes it probably is beneficial. I just tend to want to wait and see what's going on with injuries and every other detail, and not, make a mistake and take an early line and it actually kind of ends up hurting me. I figured that I'm okay with waiting, and if later in the week the line goes against what I wanted, then I have the option just to skip it and scrap the bet altogether, or to go with it because I like it that much. So I like that option ahead of like putting in a bet on Sunday night or Monday morning for the following Sunday game. Just because once you put the bet in, you can't take it back. You can offset it. You can offset it and pay some juice or whatever. But I just prefer to, when I make the pick, when I feel most informed overall with injuries and other circumstances at hand, especially this time of year right now where it seems like a lot of people are questionable and a lot of key components on teams are, the injury report's gotten weird over the years, where it used to be like, probable, questionable, doubtful. Now it's all questionable. They don't have probable anymore. So you don't know if questionable means, and a lot of times questionable is really doubtful, because it's almost like gamemanship amongst the coaches, where they know what the actual answer is probably 3 days in advance, but they would rather have the other team to prepare for that team, that particular player all week. So whether it's a quarterback like Joe Burrow, I have a feeling, the team had a pretty good idea if Joe Burrow was going to play, but as far as the Bengals knew, but I believe they hold it out because then the other team has to put energy into preparing for the other guy as well. So it's gamemanship also, but from a fantasy standpoint, from a betting standpoint, all these teams care about is their players and winning, right? And that's the important part. They don't care about our fantasy lineups. They don't care about our bets. So they're going to do what they're going to do to better their franchise and their team situation. It just makes it challenging for someone like myself or others to forecast games. But that's part of the fun too. So,
all right, and then we had a number of parlays and teasers from last week, with something we're going to try and sprinkle in each week with the picks. They're fun for small bets, some here and there. You also had some picks on your own that I'm going to get this man to pick up that phone every time he has the premonition like he did, because he bet the Monday night games, he bet the Thursday night games, and we just didn't report it to you. And unfortunately, those were the ones that panned out really good. Our picks, our teasers and our parlays were a little bit rough this week, so we're just going to review them really quick because these are over and done with, but just so we can see where we ended up with those.
Yeah, so the teaser parlays were a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy them. I think that they're a good asset to your betting repertoire. Like I said, you want to take it with a grain of salt and have it be a lower percentage of your total bets for the week. Your straight bets is where the money is, and that's the smart way to go. But as far as teasers, we'll open up with the first one that I had, Packers-Bills. That was a winner. Green Bay plus 4.5 with the teaser points, and the Bills down to a half point. They murdered that one, 37-3. So that teaser got the check mark for the W. So that was good. Next one was a surprising one for pretty much everybody. Had the Chiefs and the Cowboys, 2-team, 6-point teaser, and the Chiefs did not disappoint. They crushed Chicago. They literally beat the brakes off of them. But the Cowboys, how about them Cowboys? They pulled another one of those, didn't show up, didn't play well, disappointed. After week one, I had people texting me, Cowboys are the best team in the league. Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. Cowboys are the best team in the NFC. Week 1 and 2, just anointing the Cowboys the champions. I'm like, have you watched the Cowboys the last 25 years? Even when they start out good, they always at the end shit the bed. But hey, people like to be, positive in the beginning, and people were all like, Cowboys, Cowboys, Cowboys. Now they go and they lose to the Arizona Cardinals outright, and not only lose, but they were dominated pretty much the whole game. I mean, Arizona had that game in hand from start to finish, and they lost, and with it took us in our parlay and our teaser, and a whole bunch of people that probably bet the Cowboys after seeing them smash the first 2 weeks. So that's a big L for us. Parlay number 2. Parlay number 3 was a heartbreaker. Seahawks-Ravens. The Seahawks, we know that they pulled through easily for us with the teaser. The Ravens, not so much. Unfortunately, Justin Tucker did not make his 61-yard kick at the end of regulation to get us the W.
This was a weekend of we had some records, we had some numbers. I mean, how often does in the same week a team win by 1 point, going back to the Packers win, and on the other hand, you got a team winning by 50 points, could have won more, and in fact, I like to make the joke the last couple of weeks. People took me really seriously about the conspiracy in the NFL with the Rams kicking a field goal against the 49ers that didn't change the score other than damaging everybody's bets against the spread. And, of course, somebody makes a comment, well, shows what you don't know. They're doing that in case of any points for a tiebreaker. And first off, I obviously know that. I was having fun. People said, hey, let's have some more banter and talk about other discussions than just hard numbers. So there we go. I tried. But also, let's look at the Dolphins. Dolphins had a chance to have the NFL scoring record. They were already up by 50. They had a chance for a field goal. They decided to take a knee. Now, that 50 points is a big spread. But, yeah, tiebreaker points, you never know. Another team might have a 50-point game and negate that, so you don't take the 3 points there. It's interesting. But, you know, let me have my fun with my conspiracy theories. I understand how tiebreakers work in the NFL. But kind of props for kneeling and not just running it up even more necessarily to the Dolphins.
Yeah, they could have scored probably 80 points. I mean, shout out to the Miami Dolphins. Our friend Anthony, it's his team, and I'm sure he was jumping around his house like crazy.
Tell me there wasn't a moment we were waiting for the first 100-point game that weekend, and
No,
I
that
have
was-
no doubt. Come on.
That was never happening, but 70 points was gross. I mean, the combination of such bad defense and Russell Wilson. Shout out to my father-in-law, Don. Don, love you, man, and I know we love Russell Wilson. He's a Wisconsin boy, but that man was terrible, and that team is terrible. And I think that Sean Payton is regretting life choices of coming back to coaching because this team is just bad right now. I don't know what the remedy is because they do have some talented offensive players. Russell Wilson's in his own head, I think. I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, the guy did some good things in Seattle early on, but maybe it was the Legion of Boom that carried him all those years. And, you know.
Well, Bears, Broncos next week, and the good thing for those teams is somebody has to win. Well, not true. Not true. We could
be
have a tie.
How bad must the Chicago Bears be that when they're going to be at home next week to a team that lost by 50 the week prior, and they're 3.5-point underdogs to said 50-point losing team? How bad must a team be to actually have that be? Just let that sink in, Chicago Bears fans. I mean, not to hate on you, but you guys are very outspoken about, you know, where you guys are going to be in regards to my Green Bay Packers this year. And you're staring at 0-3. We're staring at first place in the division. Boom. But anyway, enough of that needle. Next teaser. So anyway, Ravens, obviously, Seahawks, Ravens. Ravens fell very short and lost outright to the Colts, which is another thorn in my side because last year whenever I'd bet the Colts, they literally would fail miserably. Told Kidwell and Mike to not let me literally choose the Colts the rest of the year last year, and if I ever wanted to bet them or pick them, to specifically be like, no. So somehow this team, now that I picked against them, beat the Ravens at home. So I'm at a loss for words. I feel like that game in teaser form, which is the only way I picked it, was the stone cold nuts. But instead, it was a stone cold killer. So that teaser, loser on me. Fourth teaser, 4-teamer. This one was pretty nice. Dolphins, easy win. Seahawks, yep. Eagles, yep. And the fourth team, the one that cost us again, was the Baltimore Ravens. So 2 teasers that would have put us in a good spot for W's, fell short. But it is what it is. That's football any given Sunday, right? So we took an L on the 4-teamer, and we'll turn to the final 2 teasers. And the 8-team teaser fell short. Hit 5 out of 8. Jaguars fell short. Dolphins was an easy win. Bills, easy win. Seahawks win, no problem. Chiefs, piece of cake. Eagles, yup. But the Cowboys, Ravens, and Jaguars were a big failure. 5 out of 8 right. But all that matters is the L in the column. So had a good time with those 5 teasers, and a lot of potential for them. A lot of unexpected upsets. But that's the NFL, and no excuses. A loss is a loss, and I'll be back in the lab working on, upcoming teasers, parlays, and picks as normal. The last one was just a fun little parlay one. It was like a $10 deal. This is what I put personally on it. Jets money line, that was a failure, as we saw. Although there was a little bit of a bad beat situation where said Jets were covering the points. If you had a 3 or 3.5, it's either a push or a win yet, and then a Jets safety kind of squashed that, and the dreams of taking the Jets and making money was dead, as the Patriots won by 5 and covered the spread. Lions money line, that was a easy peasy win. Seahawks -6, that was a win, and the Packers as the 4th team in the parlay was -2, and that was a loss. So yeah, basically it came down to the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Ravens and the Jaguars as the teams that were definitely fell short this week, and were failures of mine as far as pick-wise. But like I said, back at it hard next week, or this coming Thursday for a Friday video or Thursday night video that will I'll have some good stuff for you, and I'll be hard working at it as normal. And yeah, so that's a little bit about the remaining teasers. What else you got, Mike?
Well, and to add to that, not to take away from the fact that we did put some bad picks out there. Sports like poker is all luck. No, just kidding. You never know what's going to happen week to week, and that's the thing. The old saying, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy to win, Vegas wouldn't be in business. A couple of those were heartbreakers, and but that's why there's many weeks in the season for betting. There's many opportunities. So just like in poker, you can take a run of bad beats and suddenly 1 or 2 hands gets you even and up. And that's what we look at. We look at the long term for the season. We look at the end. And like I said, jokingly before, but kind of factual, if you think this man makes horrible picks, then you're in luck. Just bet the opposite of him. Easy peasy, as he would say. And you're good to go.
You can go either way, right? Fade or fly. But yeah, last year, like I said,
what a great name for a show. Someone should. Oh, we did that already. Okay, that's us.
Boom. But yeah, 61% last year is what I was documented finished, and I plan on getting there again this year. It's way early. Last year I started out under 500 the first 2 weeks and finished 61%. Lots of season left. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I'll be working hard at it. We're going to be putting out good content. I love this. This is my passion. We love sports, and him and I are always in contact talking and just trying to do the best for you guys and have a lot of fun while we're doing it. And that's the name of the game, having fun and just enjoying what we do, loving sports, loving life here in Vegas like we do, and sharing it with you guys. So
let me just leave it with this, guys. Thank you for watching. Like I said, we're going to have different things coming out soon. We're working it out. You might have noticed today that in the video, we finally got much better video quality. And then, of course, I kind of screwed the pooch, so to speak, on the audio this week. So you might have caught some glitches. I apologize for that. We're working on the outdoor footage. It's a bunch of stuff I want to do, but I'm one of those people, you'll learn very soon in a month here, so stay tuned. I am a huge Christmas nut. Growing up, I refused to let any of my Christmas lights be turned on until every single one was in place. So I like things to be worked out. Otherwise, we would have jumped on it this month. We're going to catch some movies this next week, review some restaurants. It might be content you see. That's the idea of Fade or Fly. We try and find things we enjoy, share them with you, give you our opinion, let you know if you should fade that option or fly with it and enjoy it yourself. So that's what we're going to do. Please, guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy the content and comment down below. Hey, if you don't like the content, please continue to comment and watch because the algorithm sees it the exact same way, and we appreciate you being here too. Until next week, I guess, or later this week. Wow, I'm going to do that part again. Maybe I'll leave it in. This show's real. Until next day or two.
I appreciate all the time you guys put into viewing, and we definitely are thankful for that. Come on down to Westgate, like I said. meet both of us. You know, we're there. You know, or comment in the questions below, and I'll answer anything you want to know. And let's get this. Let's get this money. Let's have some fun, and take it to the bank. Boom.